You ever done cocaine, Russ?
I have done cocaine, and I'm allergic to it.
Oh, yeah?
Super
So
wacky.
what does that mean? It makes you sick when you take it?
Well, at first, right? So I've done it once, or I've done it like 2 or 3 times. The first time I did it, I got a major head cold, and I was like my nose just stuffed up, like swelled closed, and I was like, it must have just been shitty cocaine. Okay. And so next time I did cocaine, I was like, it couldn't happen again. And I snorted it through both nostrils, and both nostrils then were so swollen shut for like a good week that I could only breathe through my mouth. I tried doing a neti pot, where you like pour it up, like the water up your nose to get it out. And it actually just filled the rest of the air in my head with water. And I started suffocating inside my own head.
Jesus.
I know. I was freaking out. Anyway.
Why don't they just tell you that in the anti-drug commercials?
A lot of cocaine was lost. I need you to go and get it.
No, don't eat that.
Let's see what kind of effect that has on
The bear. It fucking did cocaine.
Cocaine Bear is a prime example of successful viral marketing. The true story behind the film garnered a lot of interest online, and the trailer went viral, which led to pretty good box office numbers. Cocaine Bear made almost $90 million, which is a lot for a movie that only cost like $35 million.
Wow.
It's pretty good, despite the fact that this movie is really a piece of shit.
Wow, okay.
This movie was quite the disappointment. At least I thought so.
That's so funny, because I actually felt the inverse, Gary.
You enjoyed Cocaine Bear.
I heard Cocaine Bear, and at first I was like, that sounds stupid as hell.
Yeah.
And then upon watching it, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed Cocaine Bear.
I'm surprised. Like, honestly, I thought this movie was incredibly boring and moves slow. There's way too many shitty characters. The story never really goes anywhere. The writing is atrocious.
Yeah, no, I mean, all these things are true.
It's like TV sitcom level writing.
Why do I skip school with you? You're bossier than the teachers.
Park rangers are peace officers, which means we can shoot people.
And you said you were good at dogs.
I said I had a dog.
I just kind of rolled my eyes through this whole movie.
That you were expecting more. From a movie called Cocaine Bear, you wanted more.
It's not that I really wanted more. The tone of the movie is way off.
I could agree with that too, and I think that's what you were expecting. Grindhouse, because I mean, again, that's
I think
almost what Cocaine Bear.
This movie would work if it was a full-on parody. If it was like an absurd, wacky movie, it would be funny. It could have worked if they took the material seriously. If they made it like a really sincere,
real Cocaine Bear, the movie.
Well, if they treated it like a real movie, that would have been funny. But instead, they took the worst route, which is like to go the middle ground and make like shitty, kinda comedy movie.
You're safe. Bears can't climb trees.
Of course I can.
Then why are you up here?
My review is not a good one. I think if you're on the fence about watching Cocaine Bear, you can skip it. 2 stars. There's really only one scene in the movie worth watching, and that's the ambulance scene, which is buried in the middle of the film.
Buried.
Yeah, that's the type of humor that you're going to get in Cocaine Bear. Exactly, Russ.
See, I get it.
If you're really compelled to watch this CG bear eat a few people, then, you can definitely find this movie on Peacock. Every funny moment in Cocaine Bear is squeezed into the trailer.
Sure. I kind of avoided the trailer. I saw
That's
enough.
probably wise.
Yeah, that's probably why I enjoyed it. I was like, oh, this is a new funny joke for me to internalize and not smile at. Just like, it's a joke.
Yeah, it's a catchy title, slick poster, great trailer, but ultimately Cocaine Bear is a whole lot of nothing. And, similar to the days when the studios would make a poster and then shoot a movie as an afterthought, Cocaine Bear feels like they made a movie that they knew would make a good trailer and not much else. I'm giving Cocaine Bear 2 stars.
I'm giving Cocaine Bear 3 stars. Because, I went in with about this much expectation, which is 0 for the people out there listening. And I got at least something. It was.
You found it enjoyable.
I found it enjoyable.
Not me, pal. I was so mad. I was like, I gotta get through this whole thing.
At what point did you just get turned off?
Right after the intro. The intro is pretty fine when the Nordic couple is attacked by the bear. You're like, oh yeah, they're kind of teasing the bear. Then the next half an hour of the movie, there's no bear at all. It's like all introductions of all these shitty characters.
Yeah.
They're just aimlessly wandering around the forest. Is this what this movie is?
It's people wandering around the forest getting attacked by a bear.
Like well-known actors are popping in. None of these performances are noteworthy. Cocaine Bear was directed by actress turned director Elizabeth Banks. Banks is best known for playing Effie Trinket in the Hunger Games film series and Gail Abernathy McCadden in the Pitch Perfect film series. She made her directorial film debut with Pitch Perfect 2 in 2015, whose $69 million opening weekend set a record for a first-time director.
69.
Cocaine Bear takes place in 1985 and begins with a scene aboard a small airplane where drug smuggler Andrew C. Thornton II tosses a shipment of cocaine before he attempts to parachute out of the plane. And Thornton hits his head on the door frame, knocking himself unconscious, causing him to fall to his death. And I guess this is pretty much where the similarities with the real events kind of cease, aside from the bear eating the cocaine.
Right. Plane was too heavy. The guy had to.
Yeah, I don't think he really hit his head on the door frame. I think he got tangled up in his parachute when he jumped.
Sure.
But this is funny.
It's
enough.
funnier. Yeah, no, I thought it was a funny scene.
It's not a terrible intro.
He's building it up. He's doing the thing, and he's so prepped to jump out this plane, and all of a sudden, donk.
I do think that a movie about Andrew C. Thornton would probably be pretty interesting. By all accounts, this guy was kind of a problem. He was like a narcotics officer turned drug smuggler.
Oh. The guy who hits his head? Wow, okay, interesting.
And apparently he was a bit of a risk taker and an adrenaline junkie. So he's probably kind of a psychopath.
Right.
A Goodfellas type movie about Andrew C. Thornton would probably be interesting. Thornton's body lands in Knoxville, Tennessee, where he is identified by Bob, a local detective played by Isaiah Whitlock Jr. Isaiah Whitlock Jr. is probably best known for his role on the HBO television series The Wire.
The Wire's great. You seen The Wire, Gary?
The Wire's a great show.
The Wire's great.
Yeah.
That in his character, shit. Yeah, it's great.
I was excited to see him pop
too.
into this movie, and then like his character and his plot line is pretty bad. And
it's kind of weird.
Nowhere.
He's got like a weird dog or something.
There's like a whole thing with him adopting a dog.
Yeah.
Doesn't really pan out. Next, there's a scene in the Chattahoochee-Oconee National Forest where an American black bear eats some of the lost cocaine, which I don't even think they really show you on screen.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Then the bear becomes highly aggressive and attacks two hikers, these like Nordic tourists.
Yeah, they're just loving each other and be like, we're going to get married. It's so happy for us. And
again, it's the guy from Game of Thrones, the red beard guy. So there's like all these actors popping into this thing, but it still doesn't really keep your interest. Cocaine Bear has subtitles right up front that let the audience know that black bears are usually not dangerous to humans, which the film sources from Wikipedia. So it's good to know that this $40 million movie is produced just as poorly as this podcast. It's just shitty facts from Wikipedia. The first half hour or so doesn't give you much of the actual Cocaine Bear, but the movie does eventually deliver on its premise. I just think it's kind of a missed opportunity that the bear only becomes aggressive physically. He could have also gotten aggressive in other ways, maybe pressured people into starting businesses with him or... invest in cryptocurrency.
Listen, bro, this crypto, it's through the roof.
I mean, what stuff do coke guys do? I that's like all I could really come up with.
Business people,
right? Yeah.
People
overly ambitious, short-sighted business ventures.
Sure, yeah.
I think cocaine suppresses your appetite, which if that's true, that's a pretty big plot hole for Cocaine Bear.
Oh, right, yeah.
Because the coke makes the bear ferocious and hungry.
But also, they found the bear itself packed full of all of the coke.
So its tummy would be full of cocaine.
Right.
There'd be no room for campers.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, and this thing was nomming on campers all the time.
Ray Liotta plays Sid, a drug financier who sends his fixer, David, played by O'Shea Jackson Jr., along with his son, Eddie, played by Alden Enrique. So again, bunch of actors you've seen in other things.
Right.
O'Shea Jackson Jr. is kind of interesting to see 10 years after Straight Outta Compton. Because, he was playing young version of his dad. He's playing like young Ice Cube in that film. And now he just looks like old Ice Cube. He just looks like Ice Cube now.
Does look like Ice Cube.
Yeah.
If this movie was made in the 90s, it would have starred Ice Cube.
It could have just been Ice Cube. I don't think they had the budget for Ice Cube.
No, exactly.
Ice Cube Jr. was a little cheaper.
Exactly.
You know,
he's trying to break into the business and more so.
Yeah,
I mean, he's done a couple.
I think he's been doing okay. I think he's been in movies periodically
since Compton, or was that was his?
That was his big break, but I think he's been in other things. Okay. It's hard for me to gauge whether an actor's successful nowadays because they're in shit. There's so much shit.
Yeah, there's so much stuff.
I guess he's fine.
And who knows how much
also,
money
his dad has tons of fucking money.
Right.
Worried about O'Shea Jackson Jr. Carrie Russell plays a single mother who is looking for her daughter, who basically skipped school to go to the same forest where the cocaine bear has consumed all the cocaine. The whole thing feels like a lot of setup that never really pans out. There's a park ranger played by Margot Martindale. And honestly, her performance is probably one of the better performances in the film.
Yeah, she's funny to watch.
She's funny to watch. She seems like the type of character that should be in this movie.
Yeah, kind of off the wall, a little bit goofy.
It's like a quirky Tennessee person.
Yeah,
just
super quirky. You're right.
And she has a crush on another municipal employee named Peter, who's played by Jesse Tyler Ferguson,
who's also like quirky and weird. You know.
Yeah, I guess so.
They're both wackies.
You got a Dusty Beaver here, Ranger.
Yeah, well, I'm working on that.
And like I said, the whole time you're watching this movie, you're kind of expecting all these threads to snap together, but they don't. It just feels like a lot of filler, and there's way too little of the actual cocaine bear. And that's my biggest beef with this film.
You wanted more bear.
More bear, less of the other horse shit.
The thing is, Bear isn't a physical character. He's not really there, and so therefore every minute he is on screen, it's very expensive.
I heard that something like half the budget is the CG bear.
I could believe that,
and
because
I'm sure there was a compromise of how much bear.
Right. That's why you have a shot of like someone being eaten off screen.
Yeah.
Right. You don't show the bear all the time because it's very expensive.
Sure.
I mean, I think The Revenant. You seen The Revenant? Because that had a great bear attack scene.
Yeah, I saw The Revenant, and when I saw The Revenant, it was described to me that the bear attack is the bear raping Leonardo DiCaprio.
Oh, who told you that?
I don't know. So I'm watching this movie.
Expecting this bear to get a red rocket.
Not only was I expecting it, Russ, I assumed I was watching a bear fuck Leonardo DiCaprio in the ass
the whole time.
Yeah.
You're watching, and you're like, oh, he's getting railed.
Yeah.
Well, they actually, Leo wanted to do it for real. He wanted the bear.
To really have sex with his ass. Yeah.
So,
and no condom either.
Right.
He's a method actor.
Exactly.
There's a scene where the two runaway kids find a brick of cocaine and eat a bunch of it.
Yeah, they eat like a tablespoonful.
This scene is kind of bizarre.
Yeah, I did not expect that. It was a little bit uncomfortable. I read that the filmmakers were slightly uncomfortable with filming this thing. And a lot of people jumped onto this as being like, hey, we don't like this movie because it does this. But whatever.
I mean, it's a fucking movie. I'm not like that.
They didn't actually feed the kids cocaine, you know.
Off screen, probably. But
oh yeah, it's Hollywood.
Yeah, exactly.
Half the money went to the bear, half went to the cocaine tent.
But I mean, I guess the gag is supposed to be that they spit it out instantly because the taste is bad. But they would still be ingesting a lot of cocaine.
You're gonna have a lot.
These kids, they eat a bunch of coke, and it's just glossed over pretty quickly. It just kind of happens, and then they're chased by the cocaine bear, and that's a bit. It would have been pretty ballsy if they just had the kids, like one kid OD on fucking coke.
And then the other kid doesn't know what to do because she's all hopped up.
Or the kids could have been so coked up they murder the bear.
Right.
You know?
Two kids just stab.
Yeah, just two coked up little 8-year-olds.
Kids like tearing his throat out with their teeth.
Yeah. The peak of Cocaine Bear is probably the ambulance scene and the events leading up to that. That is actually pretty cool. And probably the only reason to really watch this movie. Basically, there's an attack. The ranger's attacked at the forest station and accidentally shoots one of the kids. And there's the whole thing with the bear. And then an ambulance comes, and the bear chases down the ambulance. And there's a pretty great sequence of, like, the crash and everyone dying and Margot Martindale getting flipped out of the van onto her face on a stretcher, which is pretty great.
Yeah, and her face she's on the stretcher and it's falling out the back of the truck and she lands on her face and just like slides down the road. Oh yeah, it's
a great scene. If they could have done shit like that throughout the whole movie,
right,
and just focused on the actual cocaine bear, I think it would have been
would have been
entertaining
better for you,
enough.
sure.
Unfortunately,
But still,
it's not.
Things like that sounds very expensive. You're crashing a thing, you're having the bear involved, you're ripping someone's face off, and you have
it's
to,
just like
you have to introduce characters if you're going to kill them.
It's like a touch of good directing in a movie. It's like kind of aimless with the direction and the acting. If Elizabeth Banks could have delivered a bunch of sequences like this, I would have been like, oh, great job.
I mean, she did the Charlie's Angels.
Yeah.
She can do action, so maybe
Elizabeth Banks, I call her Elizabeth Stanks.
Oh, ouch.
Because her movies suck dick.
Oh, I see. And that's...
Because she's not good at filmmaking.
Oh, ouch. Wow.
The ending of Cocaine Bear is just as bad as the rest of the film. Ray Liotta's character shows up and has a confrontation with Carrie Russell and the kids in the bear's cave. It's so fucking bad.
Baby bears.
There's
Ray
baby
Liotta's
bears.
got a sniper rifle. He shot the cop. He
did shoot the cop.
Chasing kids through the woods.
Yeah, and suddenly all the characters,
mom.
like all his henchmen who were like risking life and limb to get this cocaine, are suddenly like, oh no, there's cops here. Let's all give up and go home.
There's kids here. Let's just go.
There's like a bag of coke hanging like 6 feet in the air.
Right.
And they're like, yeah, let's get out of here. There's kids. And it's like, no, you could just grab the coke.
Someone
it's fucking
just
retarded.
grab the cocaine. Yeah.
Also, this end scene is so like dark and naturalistically lit.
Yeah, sure.
It's way too much. Fucking Ray Liotta, what a disappointment. This is his last movie.
And here's the thing too. He gets killed and whatnot.
Yeah, they show him get disemboweled, and then it basically cuts directly to like in loving memory of Ray Liotta. It's probably the funniest thing in the whole fucking movie.
And it was actually, this reminded me that Ray was dead. I had forgotten that man passed away not too long ago, right?
Yeah.
It was in the past year, right?
It kind of takes the sting away, right?
And
I guess in hindsight, it is a better movie than the shitty Sopranos prequel, The Many Saints of Newark. Okay. That was real exploitation. They made us wait 20 years for that fucking piece of horse shit.
I didn't even waste my time, Gary.
Consider yourself lucky. It's kind of unfortunate that they never were able to put together a Ray Liotta Grand Theft Auto movie because he did the voice.
Did he?
In the video game. That was what he
one?
did like...
In number 3?
I a bunch of them. I want to say number 3 might have been the first one. I think 3 was probably the first one where it had like voices, right?
Yeah.
Before that, it was like pretty.
It was like top down.
2D,
sort of weird, yeah.
And that was basically what Liotta did, like at that awkward point in his career where he wasn't doing a lot of movies.
I'm a mobster character. I'll play that.
Yeah, a Hollywood Grand Theft Auto film like in the late '90s. That would have been pretty dope.
Cool. Yeah.
Rockstar, the company that makes Grand Theft Auto, is like hilarious. Like the guys at Rockstar are really entertaining. Like those movies, there's a lot of funny stuff in them, and like
in the games, yeah.
Yeah, like a Rockstar movie, I think would have been really cool.
Sure.
It probably would have been a little bit weird because is it going to be a full-on adult thing? And now I think you can get away with making something like that that's full-on adult, but back then it was a little bit, like they were trying to avoid. Like a lot of the video game movies, they push them into being kind of like. For kids, like Spawn and shit should have been R-rated, and they could try to make
even Mortal Kombat, like Annihilation,
yeah, exactly.
Right? And then
the hesitancy back
Mario.
then, I guess, was like, will people go see this if we don't make it, accessible for kids? And now, yes, because millennials are just fucking grown children who will watch.
They'll watch anything, and as long as, especially if it's something that they're familiar with.
Yeah.
Something new, maybe not so much, but something I'm familiar with. Yeah, I'll go see the shit out of that. Barney, but R-rated? Yeah, fuck yeah. Actually, I'd watch that.
Oh yeah.
Come on, Gary.
R-rated Barney.
You don't think I would? You wouldn't? You put it past me?
Come
on, I love dinosaurs. I love them.
Yeah. I bet you would love Barney. I bet you'd very much enjoy Baby Boop.
Rule 34 exists, Gary.
You're gonna have sex, Baby Boop?
No, Rule 34. If it exists, there's fan porn of it.
I don't even want to think about the type of fucked up person who needs Baby Boop porn.
Right. Baby Bop.
Baby Bop.
And PJ here, brother.
I was just testing you, Russ.
Yeah.
To prove that you're a 3-year-old girl.
I don't even know if they're on Barney still. They probably brought back Barney like a CGI version.
I don't think so. Barney was one of those things that there was like a huge backlash against. Like,
was there?
When something's too popular in popular culture, there's inevitably a huge backlash against it. Like
I do
the
remember
Blair Witch Project was like the best movie in the world for 1 week, and then it was a complete piece of shit the next week.
Right.
And everyone really hated Barney after a while. I think there's a documentary about that.
About people being like, oh, just really anti-Barney. Like,
yeah.
I remember downloading joke sounds on Napster that was like, you know, Barney getting shot, and that's
Yeah.
like, that's what you downloaded on Napster, you know, by Weird Al or whatever.
Oh, okay.
No, it wasn't really. Oh, Adam Sandler, you know. So it was just
Yeah, it
mislabeled.
became like trendy to shit on Barney for a while. Did you think the CG bear looked good?
I thought it looked like a CG bear.
Yeah.
You know, I thought the Revenant looked a little bit. I felt a little more intimidated by the Revenant bear because he was
the
going to have
Revenant,
sex with Leonardo DiCaprio.
of course. Which is also, it's easier to, you know, fool people with a more realistic portrayal of a bear like that than
Right.
Cocaine Bear.
This thing, which is like pounding like a pound of cocaine. Also,
Yeah.
that shit wouldn't even kick in for the next 15 minutes to an hour. So just
Yeah.
because I guess it snorts cocaine when it's eating it. But yeah, the cocaine use didn't really make sense. Like the bear falls off, it's dead essentially, but then it smells cocaine from like a mile away, and it's like, I'm alive again. I'm a bear, you know.
Yeah.
Like it has this weird property that it was like mystical. This cocaine had a mystic power that cocaine doesn't actually have. Cocaine's just a sad, lame drug that's way too expensive. And this cocaine in this movie was like fuel for everybody. It was just, like, cool.
Well, they should have had the bear learn to freebase. Then they could do a sequel. It's like Crack Bear.
Crack Bear, right?
You know?
Where he really does
He's
some shit.
really a mess in that one.
Dude, crack. Now that's some shit.
Yeah.
Now I would be scared of that bear.
Gary, I'm not allergic to crack. That one I can handle just fine.
Just fine.